It's the Women's Royal Rumble and it's time to find out who's number one. Bianca is going to have to do it the hard way, but it only gets tougher when we see who's in at number two. It's Liv Morgan. She's back from injury and straight into the fire against one of the best in the world, and she hasn't missed a step. She gets close to eliminating Bianca right away, but it's the EST who hangs on, and then we see who number 3 is, and it's Tegan Nox. And she hits the ring and picks up the pace even more, and that is until Shayna Baszler comes in at number 4, and the ring starts to fill up. She nails her with a vicious forearm that stumbles her over towards the ropes, and Baszler gets the first elimination right away by clotheslining her over the top rope. She's looking dominant, but as Bianca and Liv are battling, Shayna is just letting them go. And it paves the way for number 5, and it's the nuggety and tough Ivy Nile. She comes in to give Baszler a true fight, and she almost gets her out of there, but Baszler is hanging on grimly, but Ivy won't quit. She's heaping the pressure on, and then at number 6, it's Asuka. The Empress of Today takes her chance. She hits ringside, grabs Baszler by the feet, and pulls her off the apron. Baszler is gone, and she snaps. She nails Asuka with a heavy shot, takes her down, locks in the Kirifuda clutch, and Asuka hasn't even had the chance to enter the match, and she's already in trouble. But Ivy Nile is watching all this go down, and Liv Morgan's able to take the advantage and dumps her out too. You have to have eyes in the back of your head, but Asuka's eyes are starting to roll into the back of hers. Shayna lets her go and then throws her back into the ring. She gets lucky though. Bianca and Liv are back trying to eliminate each other, and they don't notice that Asuka is down. But the next woman in sure as hell does, because it's Shotzi in at number 7, and she has history with damage control. And with Asuka hurt, Shotzi is going to do everything she can to try and get Asuka out, but she's grimly hanging on. Liv and Bianca are still duking it out on the other side, so it stays one-on-one until Asuka gets incredibly lucky again. Kairi Sane is here to save Asuka, and she goes straight at Shotzi right away. She gives Asuka the reprieve she needed, and then together they double team Shotzi. Asuka locks in the Asuka lock, Kairi goes to the top, and it's time to finish her off. They manage to throw her over the top rope, she's eliminated. And then it dawns on Bianca and Liv that things have drastically changed in this match, so they have to put their differences aside and focus on damage control. They pair off and the battle is on, which leads to number 9, and it's Candice LeRae. And it's now the damage control dominance that starts to take effect, because with Belair and Morgan incapacitated, they double team LeRae, and then immediately she's gone. And this continues with entry number 10, which is Indy Hartwell, and also number 11 in Natalya. They've taken over the early part of this match, and with the potential of even more damage control members to come, it's looking grim for the rest of the roster. But the numbers become more favourable when number 12 enters. Becky's here, and the match has just become incredibly stacked with star power. Becky joins forces with Bianca and Liv, and they gang up on damage control to give them a taste of their own medicine. And they get so close to getting them out, but they somehow survive. But the disadvantage for damage control only continues when we get our first NXT competitor, and it's women's champion, Lyra Valkyria. Someone who has the respect of Becky after taking the championship from her. And they combine immediately, and they get rid of one of the biggest threats in the match. In the Empress of Today, it's Asuka, who is gone. But right after, Lyra tries to throw Becky out, but she manages to hold on narrowly, and she gets back in the ring. It's genuinely every woman for themselves, and we see that in full effect on the other side of the ring when Kairi is able to roll under the bottom rope to escape, and immediately Bianca Belair tries to throw Liv Morgan out, but Liv hangs on as well, and with all bets off and seemingly no more alliances, that changes very quickly. Even more damage control presence. Just after they lose Asuka, they gain Bayley, and she helps up Kairi, and she instructs her to stay on the outside until the right moment. Bayley slides in the ring to enter, but then slides directly out, and it's incredibly smart. and it's all part of Bayley's master plan to take over WWE and face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. They stand and watch as all 4 women in the ring try and wear each other down, and this part of the plan is going perfectly. But everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, and the next entrant certainly does that. Jade Cargill making her first in-ring appearance in WWE, and she goes right after Bayley and Kyrie on the outside. She's got big shots for both of them. The right boot lands off both of their jaws, and now they're down on the outside, but this time not under their own power. Cargill hits the ring and makes another big impact too. She downs everyone in her path, and then she powers up and dominates Lyra Valkyria, and she eliminates her. The NXT Women's Champion is gone, which is massive, especially if Jade ends up in NXT eventually. But the big moments do not stop there. The Ultimate Showdown, something the fans have been begging for. It brings the whole place to its feet. One of the biggest stars in WWE, face to face with someone who could well be gunning for that spot. But before they can even touch, it's Bayley and Kyrie that are back. They throw both of them over the top rope, but they both manage to hang on. And then Liv Morgan comes in from the side. She manages to grab Kyrie and launches her over the top rope. She took her chance, and Kyrie is done. Meanwhile, Jade is back in the ring. She runs at Bayley to try and eliminate her, but Bayley moves and she collects Bianca instead. Bianca Belair is eliminated by Jade Cargill. One of the huge favourites is gone, and Jade can't believe what she's done. But she quickly joins Bianca because it's Bayley that tosses her out, and the crowd showers her in boos. But she doesn't care. She loves it. Her plan is coming together. But Jade and Bianca aren't having this disrespect. Jade pulls Bayley out of the ring and she drops her, much to the approval of Bianca Belair. She gets what she deserves, but still, it's Becky Lynch, Bayley and Liv Morgan who are still left in the match, and it's time for number 16, and it's Michin. But as she approaches ringside, she's stopped in her tracks by Nikki Cross, who's standing to the side of the stage. She's not even officially in the match, she's just staring blankly. It's bizarre, but Michin enters the match regardless and gets right into the thick of the action with the 3 major players that are still alive. We then see another darker entity enter when Isla Dawn is in at number 17, and just like Michin, she comes face to face with Nikki as well. She continues to stare, but we do see her eyes follow Isla as she walks off to get herself involved as well. Dawn goes right after Becky Lynch to try and take out what could be the biggest threat in the match, and meanwhile though, Bayley is up to even more shenanigans. She baits Michin into running at her for the clothesline, but she evades again. The momentum takes her over the top rope. Liv tries to grab Bayley, but she reverses and flings Liv into Michin, and it's another elimination. Bayley is on fire in this match. But so far, Liv has been in the longest, and she takes Bayley over to the corner, and then it's time for number 18, and it's the intimidating Zoe Stark. And she goes right after Liv Morgan as she hits the ring, and Isla Dawn is trying to get Becky out on the other side as well. All while a very smug and savvy Bayley watches on with pleasure. So far, her plan to win the Royal Rumble and face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania is going perfectly. But there's a lot of people she has to get through yet, including number 19, who comes in to completely tear the match apart. Niven is on a tear. She clashes into Isla Dawn and she tumbles over and she's gone. She picks herself up barely though, and as she's walking towards the back, she comes across Nikki Cross again. And instead of leaving, she oddly joins her on the side of the stage. Something is brewing. There's some kind of connection there. But another connection then arrives, but not in the form of the next entrant. Instead, it's Chelsea Green. She storms out because she didn't get an entry into the Rumble because it was taken from her at the last minute. And she's demanding to know who it was. She's demanding that she wants her spot back. And she is going crazy. But that brings out the crazy, because both Nikki and Isla approach her. And then we get the next entrant, and it's even worse news for Chelsea, because it's Alba Fire, and now Chelsea is surrounded by this triad of unstable women. And Chelsea continues to talk trash, but then she's picked up by Isla Dawn, and her and Nikki carry her out of the building, kicking and screaming. There seems to be some kind of dark alliance and connection between all three. But Alba enters the match, and the ring is starting to fill up. Becky, Liv, Piper, Alba Fire, Zoe Stark and Bayley are all in, but entrant 21 looks to change all of that. Also, it brings the house down.
Bring it to the front.
It's Naomi! She's back in WWE, and the place is deafening. She comes out the only way she knows how, and then she hits the ring, and she is on fire. She takes no time at all to eliminate Zoe Stark, and then Alba Fire confronts her. They trade, but she's too much for her as well, and she gets her out of the ring. It's unbelievable. The crowd can't believe what they're seeing, and they're so excited to have her back. But it's behind her back, there stands an imposing figure. And Naomi tries to throw kicks at Piper, but it's really no use. She's far too much. And now Becky tries to join the fight as well. They know they've got to try and get rid of her, but she fights them both off, sends them both in the corner, and then lines them up and nails them with a massive shoulder check. She wipes them both out, and it's looking like Piper Niven has rocketed into favoritism until the arrival of entrant number 22. Nia is here, and Piper has cleared the ring. She hasn't been able to eliminate anyone, but she's dismantled them all, and they've all rolled out to get away. And now it's one-on-one. Nia and Piper come nose to nose, and this is what the Royal Rumble's all about. They collide, and the crowd comes alive again. They go back and forth. Piper tries to pick up Nia, but she can't do it. And then Nia fires back, and she actually does lift Piper up. She dumps her over the top rope, and it's not the result the crowd wanted. They want Nia gone, but Piper is done. Nia is on her own in the ring remarkably. And then, one by one, almost all of the remaining competitors try to rush her, but she has right hands for almost every single one of them. She's completely taken over the match, and it's time for one more to come in. And at number 23, it's Katana Chance. She rushes the ring, but she gets rocked by Nia, and Nia picks her up and tosses her out, but she doesn't hit the floor. She lands in the arms of Piper Niven. She didn't even mean to catch her, but Katana essentially just climbs her, and she manages to grab the top rope, trying to pull herself back in, but Nia snuffs out her chances, body checks her, and she's gone. And the crowd keep booing Nia, who continues to lap it up and continues to dominate the match. None of the new school could seem to lay a hand on her. But what about the old school?
I don't care what y'all say.
Trish Stratus is in at number 24, and she won't take a backward step. She throws everything she has at Nia. She manages to hit a Stratusfaction, but it's not enough. Nia gets up, and she drops Trish, who rolls to the outside. It is extraordinary power. But then, as she turns around, she sees what now faces her. It's Liv and Naomi leaps at her with a rear view. The crowd rises because they want Nia gone. She's over near the ropes, and Liv wants to hit an Oblivion. She runs up, but Nia flings her over the top rope. The crowd can't believe it. They're angry. They're disgusted. They wanted Liv to win the whole thing. But her run from number 2 is over at the hands of Nia Jax. But Naomi isn't going to give up. She goes after Nia still, and she stuns her. She's up against the ropes again. This is the moment. But before Naomi can make the run at her, Bayley comes from the side and sends Naomi flying over the top rope. She kills another dream that the crowd had. It's unbelievable. They're dropping like flies. The big names are going everywhere. But Bayley laps up the boos, and Nia does as well. They got rid of 2 of the biggest fan favourites that we had. But that doesn't mean there isn't more, because Becky and Trish are still in there. and Becky wants to personally deal with Nia Jax, and her and Trish take it all the way up to the two of them. And we are really getting to the deep end now, and it's time for number 25, and it's Maxine Dupri. She's ready to join the Sharks in the ring, but she doesn't even make it because she gets blindsided by Valhalla. She's all over her. She absolutely decimates her. Maxine never stood a chance. And Valhalla finishes her off and then throws her into the ring where she lands at the feet of Nia Jax, who temporarily has Becky down, and she nonchalantly tosses Maxine Dupri out, and it paves the way for number 26. It's one of NXT's biggest stars in Cora Jade, and with Nia again distracted with Becky Lynch and Trish having down Bayley in the corner, it's time for the future versus the past. A confrontation only the Royal Rumble can really provide. And they both collide, trading shots, but it's the veteran that gets on top, and she has her against the ropes, and she wants to hit a Stratusfaction, but midway through, Cora brilliantly counters into a belly-to-belly that sends Stratus over the top rope. It's yet another unbelievable moment. Becky tries to get at Cora, but Cora manages to down her as well, all while Nia and Bayley duke it out. And then it's time to find out who drew the infamous number 27, and it's another legend. It's Lita. And that makes Cora happy because she wants to take another scalp. Lita hits the ring and they go toe to toe. And Lita manages to get on top though. She hits a twist of fate and now she wants to go to the top. She's gonna go high risk, and it's looking like the star-making night for Cora Jade is about to be over. But then, out of nowhere, it's Nia Jax again, and she shoves Lita off the top rope and she tumbles out. What an absolute killjoy. Jax ruins the party again, but Becky has seen enough, and Becky turns up the heat and she takes Nia down and locks in the disarmer. Cora has barely made it to her feet and Bayley tries to throw her out, but she hangs on for dear life. And then we really get to the pointy end with number 28, and it's Zelina Vega. She comes right in after Bayley, saving Cora from being eliminated, albeit inadvertently. It's getting super chaotic now. Nia is able to break clear of the disarmer, but she doesn't quite have the strength to carry Becky. She drops her. The toll this match has taken on everyone is really starting to show, which is why coming in at number 29 is a huge advantage, and it's another NXT starlet and someone Cora Jade is very familiar with. It's Roxanne Perez. And she hits the ring with all the energy she has. She takes it to everyone. She bashes and crashes her way through the entire match. And in particular, she makes a beeline for Cora, but she wipes her and herself out. Her anger issues, her volatility has cost them both. And as they hit the floor, they just keep fighting. It's complete carnage, and the history between them spills over. But while Vega is distracted by it all, Bayley, just like she's done all match, hits her with a rose plant and tosses her out too. It's all come apart. Eliminations coming thick and fast, and there's only 3 women left. It's Becky, Bayley, and Nia. However, the fight is still continuing up the ramp between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. But as they reach the stage, the music that plays stops them both in their tracks at number 30. AJ Lee! She's back! The crowd goes absolutely nuts! She comes in at number 30 and brings the house down. And now she looks to bring the rest of the competitors down. It's a star-studded Final Four. It's anyone's match. And after a brief stare down, it's on. Becky and Nia go at it. AJ and Bayley go at it. And the crowd comes alive even more. And in stereo, AJ and Becky lock in their famous holds. Bayley and Nia are screaming in pain, but there's no submissions. However, the damage is done. AJ lets go. Becky lets go. But Becky sees the opening with Nia near the ropes. She hammers her, trying everything to take every ounce of energy out of her. She's trying to land the elimination. She's got her where she wants her, and she winds up, but AJ drop kicks Becky from behind, which sends her into Nia even harder, and they both go tumbling over the top rope as well. The crowd can't believe it. Nia is finally gone, but it's Becky that had to go with her, and we are down to 2. AJ runs over. She immediately locks in the Black Widow again. Bayley is in desperate trouble. The crowd have been begging for her to be eliminated all night. AJ is wrenching away, trying to weaken her, and she has big time. She lets go. She flings Bayley over the top rope, but she only just hangs on. She tries to finish the job, but somehow Bayley gets her feet up and stuns AJ. And now Bayley lands a rose plant. She picks up AJ, flings her over the top rope, but AJ barely hangs on, and she only just manages to get herself back in the ring. And now they're just slugging it out. AJ is fresher, so she's able to wear Bayley down, but she wants to hit her with one more move. She hits sliced bread, but as she flips over, Bayley counters, catches her, and takes her over to the corner, sits her on the top rope, and sees her chance. She scales the ropes to meet her and nails her with an avalanche Bayley to belly. AJ is rocked, and Bayley calls her to her feet over near the ropes, and she clotheslines her over for the win. Bayley does it. She wins her first Royal Rumble. Her and Damage Control's plan has come to fruition. The door is now open for her to challenge Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, and it brings Dakota and Io to celebrate with her in the ring. The 2 original members. It's a beautiful moment. Dakota can't believe it. She's stunned, and Bayley looks at her and says, "I'm getting you before you idiots get me. I'll see you at WrestleMania."